Hello, film buffs! Today we're delving into a world of stories where love breaks age stereotypes and feelings arise where they're least expected. This episode features films and series about relationships between older women and younger men, filled with doubts, warmth, difficult decisions, and moments that change the characters' lives forever. If you enjoy these kinds of deep emotional collections, subscribe to the channel and like them so you don't miss out on new heart-wrenching stories.
Book of Love, 2004. This story revolves around several people whose lives intertwine at the most unexpected moment. At the center of the plot is an adult woman going through a difficult time and a young man just beginning to find his place in the world. Their acquaintance begins with simple conversations, chance encounters, and mutual support. Gradually, a special bond develops between them, built not on passion, but on understanding, trust, and a genuine interest in each other. The woman becomes a source of wisdom and peace for him, and he becomes a reminder that life can be bright and full of hope, even when it seems the best moments are behind us. The film carefully shows how people from different generations can heal each other through words, actions, and simple presence, opening new pages in their own stories.
Scarborough, 2018. A quiet yet intense drama unfolds against the backdrop of a cold seaside setting. It centers on a mature woman working as a teacher and a young man searching for his place in life. Their relationship begins as a simple friendship, but gradually develops an emotional depth. They spend long evenings discussing dreams, fears, and past mistakes. The woman sees in him a reflection of her lost youth, and he sees in her the stability and support he sorely lacks. However, pressure from society and those around them begins to mount. The film explores how the words of others and social constraints can influence the most personal feelings, forcing the characters to make difficult choices between what is right and what is true in their hearts.
Erotas με διαφορά, 2021. This romantic story begins with a chance encounter. Zeta is a grown woman, a mother, living a life full of family worries and everyday responsibilities. Kostis is a young man full of energy, working in a bar and dreaming of more. Their conversation begins with a smile and a light joke, but over time it develops into long discussions about life, fears, unfulfilled dreams, and the future. An emotional intimacy develops between them, forcing both to rethink their views on love and relationships. They must face judgment, misunderstanding from loved ones, and their own doubts. But it is precisely these difficulties that strengthen their bond. The series shows that love can be more than just a feeling, but also a choice, moving forward despite the fear of being misunderstood.
Amin, 2018. The story of a young man who works away from home to support his family. His life is one of constant stress, fatigue, and loneliness. Everything changes when he meets an older woman who has gone through a difficult divorce and lost faith in intimacy. Their relationship begins cautiously. They share stories from the past, talk about dreams and fears, and learn to listen to each other. For him, she becomes someone who sees him not just as an employee or a son, but as a person. For her, he is a reminder that the heart can still feel warmth. The film explores themes of inner freedom, emotional dependence, and how two people can help each other find themselves in a world full of expectations and limitations.
The English Teacher, 2013. Linda is a shy and lonely teacher whose life has long settled into a quiet, almost unnoticeable routine. Everything changes when her former student, a young man with dreams of becoming a writer, returns to town. Their conversation begins with a discussion of his play, but gradually evolves into conversations about life, fears, and disappointments.
Linda feels emotions she had long buried beneath routine awaken within her. The film shows how an encounter with a person from the past can upend the present, forcing one to consider one's own desires, moral boundaries, and the right to happiness, even when it seems like time has passed. Flying Blind, 2012. The plot centers on a woman experiencing an emotional crisis and trying to rebuild her life after a difficult relationship. She meets a young man whose openness and sincerity become a breath of fresh air. Their connection is built on long conversations, shared walks, and mutual support. He helps her regain her confidence, and she teaches him to see the world more deeply and attentively. The story reveals for two people from different stages of life can become each other's support system, even if others don't always understand their choices. Good Luck, 2014. The story unfolds within the walls of a medical facility where people's destinies intersect at the most difficult moments of their lives. A young man faces a serious challenge, and it is there that he meets an older woman who helps him maintain hope. Their conversations about the past, the future, and the fear of the unknown become the foundation of their special bond. She shares her wisdom, he shares his belief that change is still possible. The film emphasizes that support and human warmth can overcome any circumstances, even in the darkest periods of life. New York Prison Break, The Seduction of Joyce Mitchell, 2017. Based on a true story, this film depicts how an adult woman working in the system becomes emotionally involved in the lives of young men behind bars. At first, it seems like a harmless interaction, but over time, the relationship becomes increasingly complex and dangerous. The story explores how loneliness and a thirst for recognition can push a person to make decisions that change the destinies of several people at once. This is not just a drama about an escape, but a story about psychological dependence, emotional traps, and how feelings can blind even the most rational people. A Woman Not to Adventures, 2008. The main character is a successful woman accustomed to stability and control. Her life follows a clear plan until she meets a young man who lives by emotions and impulses. He draws her into a world of spontaneous decisions, new experiences, and bold actions. She teaches him responsibility and an understanding of the depth of feelings. The film explores how love can become a journey in which both partners learn to transcend their traditional roles, finding a balance between their heads and hearts. Goyo 2024. This contemporary story depicts a young man on the threshold of major life changes. He meets a woman who has already experienced loss, disappointment, and personal triumphs. Their conversation begins with simple conversations, but gradually develops into a deep emotional connection. She helps him understand himself, his goals, and his fears, and he gives her the feeling that the future can still be bright. The film is filled with moments of silence, glances, and unspoken words, emphasizing that the most powerful feelings are often born not in loud declarations, but in understanding and support. So, this concludes our top 10 stories where love transcends age, expectations, and social conventions. These films and TV series remind us that the most important connections in life are built not on numbers, but on sincerity, respect, and the ability to be there when needed. If you enjoyed this collection, subscribe to the channel, like it, and let us know in the comments which film touched you most and what topic you'd like to see in the next episode.